Let me put you down on my desk. Thank you for my regulars getting in there and putting in your hashtag prize patrol. Thank you. That is how you win today's card. If you get picked at the end when I spin the little wheel and your name pops up, then I mail you today's card. So you could be getting this card in today's mail. It's a stand-up easel card, and it's also a bookbinding card. So it's kind of two cards combined in one, which is pretty cool. And it very similarly matches the one we did Monday. Monday, I did this one. And it's, again, bookbinding easel card combination. I did red, white, and blue because, of course, it was 4th of July. And then today I'm doing the hippo, and I put her on our little wobble, and I put it on a diamond because, you know, she's on point. And that's what our sentiment says on the inside. So we made the outside a point. So we need a few things to get started on this. I've obviously pulled out my ballerina. We'll pull out the sentiment. On that link I put in the comments, you will find wobbles. This is what they look like. They're by Hampton Art. Action wobbles and mini springs. There's a couple different sizes, I believe. I'm linking you to the one that I use. They are little springs. And then this is a peel and stick, and this is a peel and stick. So super easy to use. And then I went and cut all my pieces. So let's see if I can be on camera and think at the same time. You know, that's always a challenge, right? So I'm going to come down here to my bottom one. So this, of course, is 4 1/4 by 11. We knew that. Our first one is 5 1/2. That's very standard. I went over 1 1/4 inches. So at 5 1/2 plus 1 1/4 is 6 3/4. That's going to be my other score line. And then I cut this one in half, basically. So this one is scored at 9. So we have 5 1/2, 6 1/4, 9, and then it's going to go out to 11. So it's not quite in half, but sort of. We didn't want to play around with eighths. So because this is 1 1/4 by 4 1/4, the pieces that are going to go into it are going to go down in 1/8 inch increments. Now you don't have to. I did this one at 4 1/8 by 1 1/8, and this one is 4 inches by 1 inch. Now you could just go with the 4 inch by 1 inch. You don't have to have the matting underneath. It will still totally work that way. I just have a tendency to put some extra little pop on things. And so I've got both. And there's 2 of those. There's one for the top and there's one for the bottom inside. And then I have my piece that goes in the middle here. This is going to be our on point, and this should be 3 by 3. So this is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. Now all of my roses run up and down. That was a little tricky. When I chose this designer series paper, I didn't realize that it had a pattern that went this way, which didn't necessarily work with my putting it on point. So what I did was I went and cut it funny. I set my 3 inch on here, and then I kind of drew around it to pull something out of the middle that was right side up. Because if I had done it, the way the paper runs, it would have been, they would have been coming in at an angle, which is not horrible, but I went the other way, and that's just how I did it. You can also, I did a 3 by 3 and I trimmed it. You can cut out a scrap of 2 7/8 by 2 7/8 and then just use that as your mask. You can use a piece of acetate if you're going to be using these cards a lot. I always recommend cutting a little pattern out of acetate because they are clear. So when you lay it over them, you can see underneath to make sure that you are indeed, you know, going the right direction. And you have a leftover piece that you can stick in your drawer for doing the card again. If you've signed up for my email list, you've seen the one. I need to update it because now they've retired the turtle, but it has kind of a front where it kind of angles down. And so each piece is a different size and it's got angles on it. It's kind of hard to figure out the first time. So once I got it figured out, I made little plastic templates, much easier from there on out. So I just have a little thing in my drawer over here full of little patterns. But where did I stop? Okay, so I have a scrap for stamping my hippo. And then what I had left in the middle, you know, on my section here, I wanted to be able to put the two things down and have the gap in between. So I'm going to have a little tiny border on the bottom and a little tiny border in between. And so therefore this one is 4 inches by, let's see, 4 1/8 by 2 7/8, right? Yeah, 4 1/8 by 2 7/8. So this one is 4 by 2 3/4. Okay, you see how I'm reading that on the ruler up here? That's part of why you have to have the grid paper. I mean, the grid paper just does all sorts of fun things. It also helps you find the middle. Because you can, you know, it's like my little ruler with the 0 in the middle. You can find your 0 point. You can also find the center by using the things in the middle. All kinds of fun stuff. But anyway, I digress. We're going to move back on to creating our card. And I usually like to start with getting little pieces out of the way because then it makes it less overwhelming not to have as many little pieces lying around. Because we know that right off the bat, these are just going to get stuck down. There's no stamping involved. So brand new reel. Let's see. Let's get it started. I put new adhesive in here before I went live so I wouldn't run off on camera. And last time I laid it flat, which you can totally do. This time I'm going to put it on dimensionals. And it just is because I want to give it a little more lift to show you what the difference is on holding up our easel. Usually when we have an easel card, there's some kind of stop. And it does give a stop because it is 2 layers of paper. But the dimensionals are just going to give it that much more. And you'll see what I mean as we get going on this. Okay, so I'm just peeling off the backings. Who knows where these things are going to end up, right? They'll be all over the house. Make sure my roses are right side up. And then I'm just going to find my even border and plop that down. Now, because I plopped this one down at a raised angle, I think I'm going to do that one as well. So let's just do the same thing. Just kind of mix and match, right? And I love dimensionals, and the more dimensionals you can get under there, the fancier it's going to look, which I do love. But you want to limit them if you plan to put this through the mail, because the mailman wants to charge us extra postage if they are too thick. And 2 sets of dimensionals makes it too thick to put through their, I don't know, automatic feeders or whatever they have behind the scenes. And so they have to hand cancel them. And that's why it's extra postage. So just keep that in mind. You know, pop like crazy. I love it. But if you're going to mail it, remember that it might cost you extra postage for doing that. One of the things they taught us was you can either get from the post office. Sometimes they have those. Of course, someone's at the front door. salesperson holding a clipboard. We'll ignore that. I don't need a new roof, despite what she thinks. Okay, so I have a little Echo Show over here, and when she rang the doorbell, it's a video doorbell, and so it shows up on my screen. That's how I know I don't need to go answer that. Okay, these are going to go in the middle, but I'm going to do some stamping, so we always stamp first. So I'm not going to do that quite yet. Guess we could put the other one down, but the white I'm not going to put in until we stamp it. That's a surefire way to make me stamp wrong, is to not have the ability to flip it over. Okay.
Someone is at the front door.
I'm in the middle of doing a Facebook Live and I'm not really interested. Thank you. Okay, sorry. She was not giving up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make my bow. Alexa, stop. And I'm doing that on my bow maker tool, and I'm kind of giving it the, I call it the Cancer ribbon look, but whatever one is on top, that's the one I'm going to feed through the bottom. And I'm going to pull it over the top and tie a knot. And then that's all there is to making a bow. And then I'm just going to leave it a little long. And then I'm going to put some adhesive in this bookbinding part, because that's where my ribbon's going to go. I want my bow to land on top here. So I'm kind of just going to center it in the middle and then fold this over. And I'm attaching it on the inside. And this is going to allow me to kind of bury the ends. So if they ever decided to start fraying, you know, they are indeed buried. You can seal it with regular seal, or I'm going to go ahead and do it with tear and tape, because I guess this one probably had a thicker ribbon. I used the glitter organdy on this one. It's really pretty, but it was a little thicker. And once I glued it together, this piece didn't want to stay together. So I put tear and tape on it, and now it sticks. So let's see. If you don't have one of these take your pick tools, oh my gosh, you need one. It comes in so handy for so many different sorts of things. Okay, so there's our bookbinding part. Now this part, you can see here, I wanted to make it a point. And so what I needed to do was find the center, and then I'm going to cut off these edges. Now I can either do that by measuring it first, you know, putting a pencil in the middle. We could cut from here to here, or we can come in here and just set this down where it's going to land on those score lines. And then adhere that down. Then all we need to do is trim this up. So it looks like it could have gone up. My score line could have gone a little higher. But, you know, it doesn't need to. You know, there's going to be a little gap there. That's fine. Not too worried about it. If it's that way or if it's this way, it's just going to hang over a titch. Or I could go back and start over and move that up a bit. Lots of options because I'm talking in front of a camera. So this is how I kind of find where the middle is going to go. And like I said, this is where this comes in handy, that if I wanted to find the middle of where this is, see how it's just a little over the 2 here and a little over the 2 there, and that found my middle. I would normally come in with a pencil, which I can't find. Somebody got me these little pens with a diamond on the top. She thought it matched my branding. I thought that was too cool. Okay, so if we were doing it this way by finding the middle, I'm going to go from the score line down to that mark and cut. And then I'm going to go from that part to the score line again. And that's going to get us our point. And look, we could even put that on there and give it a little bit of a border if we wanted. We can make it go flush. Okay, but the point is that it's going to butt up against the dimensional strip here. It does hold up without the dimensions. It just doesn't have quite as much. You know, if it got bumped a little bit, it might fall. This one takes a little more to make it fall. There's that. And then again, making sure my roses are right side up. Let's put those in here. Yeah, I love these colors together. And that's part of why I love Stampin' Up, because Stampin' Up put these colors together, not me. Every time I go to make a card, I turn over the pack of designer series paper, and they will list all of the colors that are used in that designer series paper. And so they told me that they used Positively Pink, Highland Heather, Blackberry Bliss, Mossy Meadow, Pear Pizzazz. I mean, it was just a matter of picking a couple of the colors right out of our designer series paper. So easy. Okay, so the inside's going to be easy because that's just our sentiment. So because it was our ballerina, I got the You're Always on Point. Here's the mask I used on Monday. I saved that in case I want to use it again. And I'm going to pull the same color ink. This is Polished Pink. But the hippo I'm going to stamp in Basic Gray. Okay, so there's our inside. Now all we need is our hippo. So when I colored her before, I just colored her whole underbottom gray, but I have a feeling this little line right here means that she may have a bottom to her thing, or maybe it's down here. I don't know. Do you think it ought to be pink somewhere under here, or leave it all gray? Is there more of her dress under there? Or maybe it's just her belly's pink and this bottom would be the belly pink. I couldn't decide. See, there is a line there. It means something. Yeah, that's why I love fun folds, because I can teach you that in one stamp set, certain colors, certain designer series paper, and all you have to do is flip it up. You could choose any designer series paper, any colors, any holiday, any occasion, and the fold still works, right? That's what's fun about it. So I'm going to go ahead and color her up a little, and you tell me if I should be coloring her bottom under her skirt with more pink. And have you guys spied something in the new catalogs that you think you want me to play with? Is there something you like don't have ideas for, or maybe you're thinking of ordering but you're not sure? I'd love to give some new things a try based on what you would like to see. Sorry, trying to stay inside the lines without my bifocals can be a little challenging, but you don't want to see me in those. Okay, let's come down here on her leg. I love our Stampin' Blends. Makes coloring so easy. Makes me look talented when I'm really not. Let's put a little touch of blue in her eyes just to give that a little pop. Okay, so it doesn't wear a bodysuit at all, so you didn't think this up here should be pink either? Should this middle part be gray and only her tutu be pink? I don't know if you could see that, but it had, when I drew with the dark, it had kind of a harsh line. And so I just went over it with the light one more time and it blended it right in. So see, a little bit harsh. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in here and go over that part where it meets with some small circles. And there we go. We got rid of that harsh line. Let's see. Okay, so now that I've got her colored, all I need to do is cut her out with the dies that come with it. So I've got out my mini cut and emboss machine because the big one just looks huge on camera. And let's see. I think it's this one. So look at how cute little dies that come with this. I was playing around with it the other day trying to find another card. So I made his little sunglasses. And that's the wave back there that comes in the set. But I paired it with the dies and some stamps from the tropical one. Paradise Palms. That's where this comes from. And I don't know, I was a little disappointed in the boat because the boat's cute and the hippo fits in it. But the life preserver maybe fits, but man, it makes his snorkel look huge. So I don't know, I was kind of not so happy with that one. So I went a little simpler and came up with this one. And again, I think he's a little too dark, but you know, just playing around. Okay, so I digress. Back to the card we're making. So we do not have the magnetic plate. I wish we did. That would make things a whole lot easier. Because this does shift around a little. One of the things you can do to stop it from shifting is use a little Post-it note to hold it in place. Or here's some washi tape. Now, a lot of times I'll be brave and just run it through without, but because I've already got her all colored and I'm on camera, the chances of me messing this up are pretty high. So I'm going to try to find the end of this tape. And I'm going to make sure I've got her good and centered in there. And then just washi tape it in place. Ooh. There we go. Okay. So then we have our action spring here, our little wobble. They don't really come with directions that say which side is supposed to be the base and which side is supposed to go to your element, so I don't suppose it matters. So now that's sticky. I'm going to center her and just press down. And that's it. Now she wobbles. How fun is that? So there's our bookbinding easel card with a wobble. Who's going to give this one a try? Are you going to go out there and place an order and earn these hippos? Or try it with another set? Super fun cards. Like I said, there's our other one. Here's Monday's card, and here's some bonus ones I did. So lots of opportunity to play around with the hippos. Has everybody had the chance to enter into the prize patrol? Make sure you type in hashtag prize patrol to enter into the drawing because I'm about ready to draw. I have not. I apologize. I have, with the holiday and everything, we went out of town over the weekend. I have not designed next week's cards, but I do know that I'm going to be playing around with Lighthouse Point. So this is the bundle I will be using next week. And I'm still looking for something to use the following week. So if you have suggestions for me and there's something you want me to play with, let me know. I've got some great ideas for the teacups. Okay, Prize Patrol. I can go ahead and share that. There we go. I have 8 entries. Let's see who wins. I've had a couple people who have won and didn't fill out the claim form, and I don't have their address. So I've got little Post-it notes sitting on my desk with who I need to mail things to, and I don't have their address. So if you've won in the past and have not filled out the winner form, please do that. Congratulations, Susan. Susan's filled out the form for me before I know it. Let's see. Oops. Nope, don't need the weather. Come on, give me that. I have 2 screens going on. That's why I'm a little confused where my mouse is at. Okay, so here we go. There's our link for claiming the prize. Queen Bee Creations / Prize Patrol. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate you being here. I look forward to playing with you again on Monday when we work with our Lighthouse bundle. And you'll like this one. I know we've had lighthouses before. This one's different in that the lighthouse itself, oops, much bigger. And the dies are in 2 pieces. There's really cute things we can do. So have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you on Monday for another free class. Thanks for joining me. Bye.